Hello, my dear children and parents. Welcome to class 9th of Indus Valley Public School Rat. Children, here we will be doing your lesson number 4 from your book Moments. And the name of the lesson is In the Kingdom of Fools, a Kannada folk tale from A.K. Ramanujam's folk tale from India. So children, first of all, I'll discuss with you the title of the story. And the title of the story is In the Kingdom of Fools, which means the state where people are not so wise, intelligent, and here they think very differently and do opposite things as the wise people do. So in this story, here is a king and his minister and his advisor. All are fools. That means they are not wise and intelligent. When this kind of people rule the kingdom, then what all happens, we will be seeing in the story. And then I would like to tell you about this story is taken from a Kannada language, and this language is mainly spoken in the state of Karnataka, and it is a folk tale. What do you mean by folk tale? So folk tale is a story which is passed from one generation to another. जैसा होता है कि आपके दादा दादी नाना नानी आपको कोई कहानी सुनाते हैं, फिर आप वो किसी और को सुनाते हो, फिर वो किसी और को सुनाते हो. So that means from one generation to another generation these stories are passing on. Similarly, this is one of them. So it is taken from the book Folk Tales from India, and it is written by A.K. Ramanujam. Fine, children. So here we will be starting with the lesson. So first of all, we should know what all characters are there in the story. So characters are king and his ministers, guru, his disciple, robber, robber's brother, rich merchant, bricklayer, dancer, and goldsmith. So total 10 characters are there in the story. Now moving towards the story. So children, here comes with your lesson. In the Kingdom of Fools. It is believed that fools are so dangerous that only very wise people can manage them. Who are the fool in this story? What happened to them? Let's begin. So now here we start with the first paragraph. So in the Kingdom of Fools, both the king and the minister were idiots. So Kingdom of Fool is a Rajya hota hai. Kingdom means Raj. So here who both were fool? King as well as his minister. So both were fool. Idiot mean the people who are not intelligent. They did not want to run things like other kings. So they decided to change night into day and day into night. So what happened? These fool people, they want to behave in a different manner. They want to show themselves in a different fashion as the other king used to do. So what they did? They converted day into night and night into day. So whatever we used to do the task in the morning time or in the daytime, these people will do in the night time, and whatever the task we used to do in the night, these people will do in the daytime. So this is what they're planning. They ordered that everyone should be awake at night till their fields and run their business only after dark and go to bed as soon as the sun came up. So now what they decided? So here they are saying that they will work in the night. They will be awake in the night until their fields and run their business. So till here means to cultivate land for farming. So whole night they are going to cultivate their land, and as soon as the sun will arise, they will go to sleep. Anyone who disobey would be punished with death. So now king is saying that who will not obey this order, means who will not work in the night and who will not sleep in the day, he or she will be punished. And what will be the punishment? The punishment will be they will be hanged till death. The people did as they were told for fear of death. So now the people in the kingdom, they were following the rules given by their king as well as the minister, because they were having the terror of their death. The king and the minister were delighted at the success of their project. So now both these people were very happy as people were following their rules and regulations. One day a guru and his disciple arrived in the city. So what happened? So one guru and his follower disciple arrived in the city. It was a beautiful city. It was broad light, but there was no one about. So now these people were thinking this city is very beautiful and it is quite afternoon time. It's everywhere sunlight is there and weather is also very pleasant. Why nobody is there out? So they were very surprised to see this kind of situation. Everyone was asleep, not a mouse stirring. So now they're saying everybody was sleeping in such an afternoon. Not a single mouse, not a single creature is outside. Okay. So now what happened? Let's see. Steering means moving around. Okay. So even the cattle had been taught to sleep by day. So now even the cattles, okay, what cattles all over like cow, goat and everything, they were also made to sleep in the afternoon. Okay, now coming to the next line. The two strangers were amazed by what they saw around them and wandered around town till evening, when suddenly the whole town woke up and went about its nightly business. So now these two fellows were roaming here and there and was amazed, means they were shocked and surprised. Like in the evening, as soon as the evening arrived, everybody was woke up and they were busy in their own work. So they were amazed, they were shocked, they were surprised to see what kind of situation, what kind of creature, what kind of people they are. Okay, and these people were busy in their nightly business. The two men were hungry. Now these two fellows, who? Guru and his disciple, they both were hungry. Now that the shops were open, they went to buy some groceries. So now shops were open because it's the evening time and the night time, and grocery shops were also open. So they buy some grocery. To their astonishment, they found that everything cost the same, a single dadu. So dadu is a unit for you can say price. Dadu, that we can call our money in the Canada language. So they were surprised that each and every item was having the similar cost. None of the items were dissimilar. Whether they bought a measure of rice or a bunch of banana, it cost dadu. The Guru and his disciple were delighted. So now both Guru and his disciple, his follower, they were very happy to see that whatever, even they purchase a rice or they purchase a banana, everything is costing the same. There is no difference in the amount. They had never heard of anything like this. They could buy all the food they wanted for a rupee. So now they thought that they never ever heard of these things happening. Even whatever they want to purchase, they can purchase with a single rupee. When they had cooked and eaten, the Guru realized that this was a kingdom of fools and it wouldn't be a good idea for them to stay there. So after having their meal, Guru, the saint, thought that this place is not good for them to stay, because this is a place of fool. This is a place of people who are not intelligent, who are not having their own mind to use it. So it is not a good place to stay. This is no place for us. Let's go, he said to his disciple. So now Guru is saying to his disciple, let's leave this place and we should not stay here, because here people are not good. There people are not intelligent. But the disciple did not want to leave the place. He did not want to leave the place. Why? Because everything was cheap here. So according to disciple, he did not want to leave the place. Why? Because things were very cheap. And all he wanted was good, cheap food. And it is the need of the disciple. What is the need of the disciple? Disciple need to have a good and cheap food. So he is having in this place. So he did not want to leave the place. The Guru said, they are all fools. Now Guru is saying that these people are not intelligent. They are not using their mind. They are fools. This won't last very long. And you can't tell what they will do to you next. So now Guru is saying that it is not safe to stay this place, because these people are not using their mind. They are not intelligent enough. And you will not know what they are going to do next to you. How they can harm you and all do all these things. Okay. But this disciple wouldn't listen to the Guru's wisdom. So now this disciple did not listen anything about the Guru, and he did not want to hear anything. He wanted to stay. Even then he said, okay, I will stay, you can leave it. The Guru finally gave up and said, do what you want. I am going, and left. So now Guru said to his disciple, to his follower, do whatever you want to do. I am going, and I will not stay in such a place where people do not use their wisdom. People is not good enough. So finally Guru left him alone and he went from that particular place. The disciple stayed on, ate his fill every day, bananas and ghee and rice and wheat, and grew fat like a sacred bull. So now this disciple, every time he was eating banana, ghee, rice, wheat, and whatever he can, and he grew fat like a street dog and became a huge bull. काफ़ी खा के वो काफ़ी मोटा हो गया. ठीक है. Next, one bright day, a thief broke into a rich merchant's house. He had made a hole in the wall and sneaked in. And as he was carrying out his loot, the wall of the old house collapsed on his head and killed him on the spot. So now what happened? So one day, a thief entered a merchant's house and he made a hole in the wall to gain access to, so that he can make entry inside the house. So when he was about to move out of the house, after taking all the looting material, the wall broke and fell down on his head, and the robber died then and there. Okay. His brother ran to the king and complained, Your Highness, my brother was pursuing his ancient trade. A wall fell on him and killed him. This merchant is to blame. He should have built a good, strong wall. You must punish the wrongdoer and compensate the family for this injustice. So now what happened? Pursuing means to follow, and ancient trade means refer to theft there. ओके. सो थे मीन्स एंशियंट ट्रेड, जो अपना पुराना काम कर रहा था, जो उसका काम था वो अपना काम कर रहा था, उस काम के दौरान उसके साथ ये हादसा हुआ. सो नाउ हिज ब्रदर, whose brother? Thief's brother. He went to the king and complained that his brother was following an ancient trade. Although the ancient trade means robbing is a crime. When he was working, the wall fell on his head and he died on spot. The thief's brother was taking advantage of the king's foolishness. He said that the merchant whose wall has fallen down on his brother and was the culprit. So now his brother was blaming to the merchant's house and merchant for making the weak wall. He should have made a strong wall. He requested the king to punish the merchant and to get compensation for his family. The king said, Justice will be done, don't worry. And at once summoned the owner of the house. Summon means to call upon someone. So now the king was so foolish, he did not consider the fact that the dead man was committing theft. At the same time, when he was dead, he only thought that man died because the wall fell on him, and the owner of the house whose wall fell on him had to be punished. So he called the merchant. See how foolishness this king is, how foolish act he is going to do. The king said, Justice will be done, don't worry, and at once summoned the owner of the house. So he called the merchant. Fine. Coming next. When the merchant arrived, the king questioned him. So now merchant came, and now king is asking him, What's your name? So merchant replied, Such and such, your highness. So he said, My name is so and so. Let's see what happened. Were you at home when the dead man burgled your house? So now he is asking them, so were you in the house when this man burgled your house? Means he theft your house. Yes, my lord. He broke in and the wall was weak. It fell on him. So now he replied, the merchant replied, yes, I was there inside the house when this robber entered my house, because he peeped. He had made a hole inside, a hole through in the wall, and he entered through this hole. And while returning, my wall was weak, and this wall fell on him, and he was dead. The accused pleads guilty. Your wall killed the man's brother. You have murdered a man. We have to punish you. So now, king is saying to the merchant that he was a guilt. So now king is blaming the merchant that you did a wrong thing. Due to your weak wall, the thief died, and now he would be punished. See what a great idea the king is giving. Okay, who is that? My lord, this wall was built in my father's time. I know the man. He is sorry. Here. Lord, said the helpless merchant, I did not put up the wall. So now this merchant is saying that, Lord, please, I am a helpless merchant. I am not quite good, rich enough. I did not put up the wall. Now he is saying that I have not made the wall. It's really the fault of the man who built the wall. He did not build it right. You should punish him. So now this fellow is saying that, Lord, I am not that person, and it is a fault of the person who made the wall. So you should punish him because he did not construct it properly. So you should punish. And he further added that this wall was built. So you should punish the maker of the wall. So who is that? King is asking now, who is that fellow? So merchant is replying that, my lord, this wall was built in my father's time. So now merchant is saying that this wall is built at the time of my father when he was alive. I know the man. He is an old man. He lives nearby. So merchant is saying that I know the bricklayer. He is a very old man, and he is staying near to my house. The king sent out messengers to bring the bricklayer who had built the wall. They brought him, tied hand and foot. So now what happened? Bricklayer, a person who laid the brick and built the wall. So the king sent his soldiers to call the bricklayer who built the wall. They tied his hands and feet and brought him in the king's palace. You there, did you build this man's wall in his father's time? Yes, my lord, I did. So now king asked him, the bricklayer, that did he build the wall? And he replied, yes, I did. Who replied? The bricklayer. What kind of wall is this that you built? It has fallen on a poor man and killed him. You have murdered him. We have to punish you by death. So now king said that the merchant had built a very weak wall, and the wall fell on the poor thief's head and killed him. The bricklayer would be punished for his death. He is blaming him. Okay, because he built a weak wall and the thief was dead, and now he is in guilt. Who is in guilt? Bricklayer. So he will be punished for his death. Fine. Before the king could order the execution, the poor bricklayer pleaded, please listen to me before you give your order. It's true, I built this wall and it was not good. But that was because my mind was not on it. I remember very well a dancing girl who was going up and down the street all the day, and with her anklets jingling, and I couldn't keep my eyes or my mind on the wall I was building. You must get the dancing girl. I know where she lives. So now here what he is saying that everyone is passing the blame to one another. So when the king was about to pass an order to execute the bricklayer, he requested the king to listen to him. Who requested? The bricklayer. He agreed that he did not make the wall properly. It was because now he is giving his reason why he was not able to make the wall properly. So what the reason he gave? He gave It was because of a girl who was roaming around in the street and her anklets were making a jingling sound. Jingling sound means जो पायल होती आवाज आती झंझन की, that is a jingling sound. Okay. So due to her anklets jingling sound, he was not able to concentrate on his work and so built a weak wall. It was not his mistake. It was the fault of the girl. He added that he knew where this dancing girl lived. She should punish instead of him. You are right. The case deepens. We must look into it. It is not easy to judge such complicated cases. Let's go that dancer wherever she is. So now King was satisfied with the bricklayer's explanation. He was convinced with him. He tells that this case is very complicated and will not be able to solve it so easily. He ordered his messengers to get the dancer girl. The dancing girl, now an old woman, came trembling to the court. Did you walk up and down that street many years ago while this poor man was building a wall? Did you see him? Yes, my lord, I remember it very well. So, you did walk up and down with your anklets jingling. You were young and you distracted him, so he built a bad wall. Okay? So, it has fallen on a poor burglar and killed him. You have killed an innocent man. You have to be punished. So now what happened? The dancing girl had become an old woman and she was trembling as she entered the court. The king asked her that many years ago she was dancing and roaming around in the lane where the bricklayer was constructing the wall. Her movement distracted him. She confirmed him. She said, yes, I did. He told her that as she was roaming around, her anklets jingling, it distracted the bricklayer. Due to this, he could not work properly. He built a bad wall, which fell on the thieves and he was killed. It was because of her that the thief died and she would be punished with that. So now he is saying that she will be punished, and what will be punished? Punishment will be her death. She thought for a minute and said, my lord, wait. I know why I was walking up and down that street. I had given some gold to the goldsmith to make some jewelry for me. He was a lazy scoundrel. He made so many excuses. Said he would give it now and he would give it then, and so on all day. He made me walk up and down to his house a dozen times. Okay, a dozen times. That was when his bricklayer saw me. It's not my fault, my lord. It's the damned goldsmith's fault. So, scoundrel, a dishonest person. So now the dancing girl transferred the blame onto another person now. She said that she was roaming around in this lane again and again because she had to visit the goldsmith's shop. She had given him some gold to make jewelry out of it. He was a dishonest person. He was making excuses for not making her ornaments in time. He kept on asking her to come after some time. Due to this, she had to go to his house at least a dozen times. So the dancing girl said that it was not the fault. So it was the fault of the goldsmith and not her fault. Okay. So she also transferred the fault to the goldsmith. Poor thing. She absolutely right, thought the king, weighing the evidences. We have got the real culprit at last. Get the goldsmith wherever he is hiding at once. So now the king says that the poor dancing girl was totally right. He thought a lot and finally said that now they knew who the real culprit was. He ordered to bring the goldsmith. The king's bailiff searched for the goldsmith, who was hiding in a corner of his shop. When he heard the accusation against him, he had his own story to tell. Accusation means to blame someone, and bailiff, a law office who makes sure that the decisions of a court are obeyed. Okay, so now bailiff in the king's court went in search of goldsmith and brought him to the court. The goldsmith was hiding inside his shop as he feared being arrested. When he was brought in front of the king, he told his side of the story. Now see what he said then. My lord, he said, I am a poor goldsmith. It's true, I made this dancer come many times to my door. I gave her excuse because I couldn't finish making her jewelry before I finished the rich merchant's order. They had a wedding coming and they wouldn't wait. You know how impatient rich men are. So now he's saying that the dancing girl was right. He made many excuses and made her visit his shop again and again. But it was not his fault. He had an order from a rich merchant and they had a wedding at their place and were in a hurry to get their order, and that is why the dancing girl's work was getting delayed. Who is this merchant who kept you from finishing this poor woman's jewelry? Made her walk up and down, which distracted this bricklayer, which made a mess of his wall, which was now fallen on an innocent man and killed him. Can you name him? Then the king asked the goldsmith to name the rich merchant who made him suffer so much, who made him not to complete this dancer's jewelry on time and made her to walk so many times and distracted the bricklayer's mind. Because of that, wall was not built properly and a poor thief was dead as the wall broken and fell on the head of the thief. Can you name that merchant? Who is that merchant? The goldsmith named the merchant, and he was none other than the original owner of the house whose wall had fallen. Now justice has come full circle, thought the king, back to the merchant. When he was rudely summoned back to the court, he arrived crying, It wasn't me, but my father who ordered the jewelry. He said, I'm innocent. So now goldsmith said that the merchant was the same merchant whose house wall had fallen down. Justice has come full circle means that the story ended at the same person from it had started. The thief died under the wall of the same merchant whose jewelry this goldsmith was making. So once again the merchant was called. He was crying and he knew that the king was foolish and he would give him death sentence. He said that it was not he who had ordered the jewelry, but it was his father. His father was dead and it was none of his fault. But the king consulted his minister and ruled decisively. It's true your father is the true murderer. He's dead. But somebody must be punished in his place. You have inherited everything from that criminal father of yours, his richness as well as his sin. I knew at once, even when I first set eye on you, that you were at the root of this horrible crime. You must die. So now the king consulted his minister and gave the decision that the merchant's father was the murderer. The thief died because of him. As the merchant's father was not alive and someone had to be punished for the crime, so he said that merchant's son, who had inherited everything from his father, would have to take the punishment for his wrongdoing as well. He added that when he had seen the merchant for the first time. At that moment, he had a feeling that he was the culprit. So the king announced that now merchant would have to die because he had inherited everything from his father, from his treasure, all the thing he has taken. So now he will be he has to take the sin of his father also, and he have to die. And he ordered a new stake to be made ready for the execution. As the servant sharpened the stake and got it ready for the final impaling of the criminal, it occurred to the minister that the rich merchant was somehow too thin to be properly executed on the stake. He appealed to the king's common sense. The king too worried about it. So, my dear children, stake means a post with a sharp pointed end used to pierce something. An execution and official killing of someone. Impaling means to push a sharp pointed post through something. So now here in this paragraph it is told that, so now when this weapon was getting ready, the minister felt that the merchant was very thin and he could not be executed in this way. So he told this to his king, and king got worried. So what happened? So this merchant was very thin and he cannot be executed by such thing. So minister told this thing to his king, and king got worried. So children, till here you revise it, go through the story, and next part we will do in the next video. Till then, bye bye and take care. Thank you so much.